Hello, hello, hello. Greetings every morning. Good morning. The beginning, wow, of our Whole Health Forum Zoom Forum 5. Who would have thought? And I'll tell you, all of us in Israel know it is so hot here. This whole week we're having a heat wave. We never would have survived being in the forest outside Jerusalem. It would not have happened. So I'm super happy to kick off the Whole Health Zoom Forum 5. I want to let everyone know this is being recorded. You are muted. The recording will be available afterwards. If you are interested in my notes, in what I'm saying here in my remarks, I'm happy to send you a copy of them. Just let me know. I'm also interested in getting your responses, particularly if you have any insights or understandings or something clicks or aha moment, because Macrobiotics Today magazine has asked us to submit an article and they want specific things. They don't want just like, wow, it was great or something. And finally, before I start, I want to solicit anybody born in May or anybody you know who knows someone who was born in May to be the leaders of a panel that we'll have as the closing session on Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. So just let me know if you're a May birthday baby and I'll give you more information. I know Ruth you are, and Michael and Shulamit, Ruth Sager, we have several, Clara, we have many May birthdays. My talk today is called Macrobiotics Demystified. And the idea, what I want to talk to you about today in my 40 or so minutes, is to give you a good sense of what is macrobiotics and why I am so gaga about it, why I think it's so terrific, even after 40 years of practice this year. So you've probably heard about brown rice, maybe have had miso soup at a restaurant or something. I hope today you'll come away with a lot more than that. To give you a little short background, I was raised by parents from Texas. Their parents, my grandparents, immigrated from Eastern Europe, and my parents were both born and raised in Waco, Texas. So it means that I was raised on a diet of Southern fried chicken, potato salad, and Carvel ice cream. So I had annual colds. That was the worst that it seemed to get for me. I guess I had strong enough foundation or something. Bad moods a lot and a lack of direction, just feeling kind of like, I don't know, kind of like the dumbest smart person, my friends used to call me. After I graduated college, I did a degree in Judaica, in Hebraic studies. I actually immigrated to Israel, and I was part of a group that founded a new kibbutz on the southern Golan Heights. And as part of that process of getting to know each other, I became vegetarian. And that was a life changer for me. I didn't stay on the kibbutz. I did stay vegetarian. After that, I moved to Jerusalem, and from there, I met a natural doctor, which seemed like oxymoron to me, and I renounced dairy food, which was really revolutionary. And then someone let me know about a lecture on macro, micro, mushu. I didn't know what this thing was. And when I heard about macrobiotics, that was it. That was the light bulbs went off, and it was for me. It was logical, it made sense, it set me on fire. I traveled to France shortly right after that with teachers there, Richard Gombin, who enraptured me with his energy. And I saw even more than the theory of it, the practice, the energy, the embodiment of macrobiotics long term. And when I meet a macrobiotic person, a true macrobiotic, we could say, I really feel their energy. It's very clear. I studied next at the Kushi Institute, leaving Israel. To do that, I became a co-owner of a macrobiotic restaurant called Satori in Boston. And then back here in Israel, I met Sheldon and we set up a vibrant macrobiotic practice to this day. I've met people who have recovered from serious illness, which is always impressive. I myself have a healing story. You can go to my website for the gory details. The greatest gift of all for me is that I discovered what I call an order to the universe, or a meaning, a purpose, a higher power, this kind of thing. So I'm still passionate. How could I not be about all of this? This is what I found for my life. So let's start then and kind of talk about what is macrobiotics. So macro, of course, big, bios, life. So it's a big life, a grand, great life. Some say long life is the idea of it. The main aspect then of macrobiotics is letting us live the life that we want to live. And that's huge, right? The purpose of the food component of macrobiotics is to equip us to live the way that we want, to see the big picture of how everything is connected, and to see what nourishes us as human beings. We eat for freedom. That's the ultimate goal. We eat for our dream. And when we do this, when we know this, it makes it much easier to eat well, because we're eating for a purpose rather than just to maintain life. Health, peace, happiness are all biologically based. As people eat the same food, their blood quality becomes similar. So it makes it very easy to have mutual understanding. That's why when we have potluck dinners, first we eat and then we discuss, so that our blood quality gets similar. Lino Stankic, who was one of our teachers coming up later in the week, he sometimes prescribes emergency orange juice to people to try to get them balanced out when they're too tight and having a hard time. So that's what food does. It creates our blood and hence our mind. So we can say then that macrobiotics is connection. So I'd like to talk about the benefits and difficulties, we could say, of macrobiotics. The four main benefits, in my humble opinion, of practicing macrobiotics. First, number one is good health. What do we have if we don't have our health? Macrobiotics gives us the tools to guide our life. Macrobiotic education is education for life, for how to be healthy as a human being. I never learned these things in home economics. I can tell you that in high school. I think we learned how to use a nail file properly or something. It was one direction only, I remember. We never learned how to take care of ourselves and how to be healthy. So that's number one. Number two benefit is an efficient lifestyle. So what I mean by this is it's a lifestyle without wasted time or money or resources. Macrobiotics is a life where the unnecessary has been removed and only the useful remains. So it's simple and it's productive and it comes naturally. It's not stingy, it's not poverty mentality, it's not based on lack, it's not being afraid to spend, whether it's money, water running down the drain. It's just being precise. Maybe that's a good word for it. Number three, macrobiotics gives us vitality and a clarity for life. This is the number one health complaint in the world, you know, is not cancer, is not diabetes, it is fatigue. We are tired. We need vitality to live our lives and to do what we want to do our whole lives long. We don't need to get tired with age. That shows some kind of imbalance. There's always a reason if we are chronically tired. Maybe we need to chew more brown rice. We can explore and figure out, or ask, or read. Number four is charging up. This is the advantage of a macrobiotic lifestyle. Modern life, as we all know, is guided by mechanical consciousness as opposed to a bigger view and understanding. As our blood quality gets stronger, our intuition grows. And intuition is what guides us to make choices in certain actions. It's a knowing. We don't need to look outside of ourselves to know what to do. Pendulums, for example, a lot of people, or kinesiology, testing, these are great while your intuition is getting stronger and stronger. Eventually, you don't need even these things anymore. You know what is right for you. If you are eating candy and sugar and junk, then your intuition is necessarily clouded, or overeating has a similar effect. We are high quality receivers that should be totally plugged into nature, the moon, the stars, the constellations. That's why if we can get into darkness, if we can be in a place at night where there aren't lights shining, we can much better relate and connect to nature. We eat by taking nature outside us into ourselves. So we're connected, we're getting charged constantly from the environment. The food we eat is condensed environment that we transform into our bodies. If we have a strong connection, we're charged. Next, I would like to talk about the so-called standard macrobiotic diet. This is an oxymoron. There is no such thing as a standard macrobiotic diet. So why are we talking about it? Because at the beginning, we sometimes need something to hang on to before the intuition kicks in to learn I wasn't born knowing Greek. I have to learn these things. The main thing about macrobiotic food, and this may be bad news for some of you, is that food cannot be one size fits all. It doesn't work like that. We can't all be eating the same food and having it right for us. Our way of eating needs to be adapted and adjusted for our condition. What's going on health-wise at the moment? Osteoporosis maybe, whatever is happening, and for our environment where we live. So taking personal responsibility is not always easy. We have to really step up and say, well, I'm going to figure out what I need, and then I'm going to do that. Food is also adjusted according to what we want to do in our lives with our dream. So the activities we want to pursue, if I want to be a poet or a, scholar, I need to eat more yin food, and we'll mention yin and yang very briefly. And actually, Jane Stankich is giving a lecture on yin and yang on Wednesday, I believe. If I want to be a soldier and I want to kill people, it's pretty important then that I eat animal food, at least fish, because I can't eat the same diet as the poet does. So we have to play around with the food and with the proportions. Some people need more protein, some more grain, more vegetables. We adjust according to the season with our cooking styles. There's no bad and good, of course. It's just what's appropriate. A woman has to eat differently than a man, a child as an adult. Children don't need salt. And for that reason, they don't need oil because they always come together. Old age is a very young time, just as the beginning of life is. So they eat differently than most of the years. Older people need more yin foods, more maybe fruits or vegetables, and less heavy foods. So macrobiotics then supports the changes that come with age. Some of you may have seen the pie chart that is kind of standard macrobiotic plate. If you haven't, don't worry about it. Why I'm mentioning it is because it shows 50 to 60, half of the plate or the pie chart being grains and grain products, whether it's whole or cracked or flaked or ground. What I want you to just remember or know is that this is by weight. It's not by volume. So it's not that 50%, half the plate has to be brown rice or whatever the grain of the day is. It's the weight. And you don't have to measure it. You don't have to weigh it. Just know that it's a smaller amount by far than half the plate. Some people need more, some need less, of course. Just think of it as in relation to the vegetables on the plate. that there have to be many more vegetables than grains. Certainly at least 2 vegetables, as opposed to a single. I mean, it's so variable. You can do as you like. Variety, variety, variety. And I'm not talking about the variety show. I'm talking about variety with vegetables and cooking styles: raw, blanched, steamed, boiled, sauteed, baked, pressed. There are so many styles. Here's where you get variety. Even if you're eating leftovers, and I know it's convenient, have something fresh in your meal. Have something to make the meal different than the first time you ate those foods. Each style of cooking has a different impact on the nutrition of the food. So some people say, oh, you're destroying the nutrients by cooking. Not true. It is not true. It's understanding how to cook properly that brings nutrients to the surface. So many people don't know how to cook very well, and everything becomes overcooked or everything is raw. Practice different cooking styles. That's my underline for today. Some foods can be cooked 10 seconds in and out. Other things cooked a long time, sashimi style, even in the summer. We could say that 5 to 10% of the standard diet is beans, bean products, tofu. Don't worry about tofu estrogen. Tofu is a phytoestrogen. Don't need to worry about tofu. Tempeh is another one. Natto, if you know that one. All of the soy products. Miso, all of the soy products, soy sauce that are salty are definitely wonderful for us. These sweet soy products like tofu cheesecake or soy milk or these kind of things, more in moderation, less restorative or healthy for us, depending, of course, on our physical condition and all of that. What else? Sea vegetables like kombu that goes inside the beans when you're cooking. It's like kelp. Wakame that goes in our morning miso soup. Nori, if you know that one, goes around the delicious sushi. What else? Another 5-10% on the daily diet, let's say, is soups. Miso soup for sure, and then there's all kinds of bean soups and other soups, many different kinds. The fermentation of miso helps digestion. It's really, along with umeboshi, one of God's gifts to mankind in whole. Soups are universally enjoyed around the world, so there has to be something to it. Also, in addition, are pickles. The Feinermans, along with Dini van den Heuvel, who's going to be speaking on Friday, if I believe, just sent out a pickle making recipe. Macro lovers sent out that link, and also I did on my last email. So pickles, condiments, nuts, seeds, fruit, beverage, natural desserts, please enjoy. Let's talk about animal food briefly. Fish is optional. If you want to be a vegan, be a vegan. My observation over the years is that people who have gone through serious medical treatments, chemo, radiation, are depleted and weak, necessarily so, from these treatments, and they need some animal protein. Otherwise, many of them would not be with us today without that. So I support plant-based eating. I see the need for some animal protein medicinally. You can take tomatoes medicinally. Macrobiotics includes everything. Nothing is forbidden. It's not religion. Everything is useful. Everything is a tool, a gift, an opportunity to balance. Some people, their digestion is just too weak to get the nutrients they need from plants, and they need something to balance the strong treatments that the medical treatments they might be having, which in themselves are so extreme. So that's my observation over 4 decades. It's not a sentimental understanding of what to eat, like, oh, the poor animals, because I don't believe that. We can talk more about that at the end of the talk. We'll see if we have time for questions. A word about yin and yang, really 3 sentences about yin and yang, because this is not the focus of today's talk. It was supposed to be another talk, and if we do another forum, it will be. Yin and Yang are principles of change. We use them to guide our lives. Without them, it's like driving blind. Yin and Yang is the guidebook to life. You know, we always joke about how do we know or something. It's a big part of macrobiotic living, especially in cooking. So that's all I want to say, not want to, but will say about Yin and Yang today. Let's talk about macrobiotic cooking for health. Home cooking is the key to health. Now, this also may be a disadvantage to people who don't make cooking a priority. And I'm just as busy, or can be, as anybody else. Cooking is my priority. We need to cook if we want to be healthy. The challenge for a lot of people, of course, is finding the time. I cook every day. I never miss. That's what gives me the vitality and the health to do what I and what we want to do. It's my priority. Restaurant food is great or not great. It's not great for health. Even at a health food restaurant, so-called, restaurants are not cooking for what you specifically need for your condition. Sheldon tells the story that he used to go to a macrobiotic restaurant, there are such things in New York, and bring his own food while he was healing. I enjoy going out, and yet I feel sometimes like I pay twice for the bill and then for the effects. The food is either too salty or too spicy or oily or overcooked, or maybe the chef is got a bad condition, or he's having a bad day, or he had an argument. Who knows? We're eating vibration. There's nothing like the power of home cooking. It's so important to know how to cook. It supports our health on every level. It supplies the best nutrition. It's delicious and it's satisfying. We used to ask Misho Kushi and his wife Aveline, what's the most important aspect of cooking? And she would inevitably answer, taste. Make the food delicious. Otherwise, you might even feel better and you're not going to want the food. It has to be delicious. People need to be patient if it's not so tasty at the beginning, because physically our taste buds change. The physical buds on the tongue change. If we are going off and on sugar and back to broccoli and onto chips, and the transition then takes a lot longer, to be sure. If we can be patient, the foods that maybe were not so satisfying become delicious, like squash or sweet potato. Today, if I somehow sugar gets into my mouth, it's like uncomfortable. It's like, ugh. It's almost bitter. So I want to give you 6 aspects of what cooking contributes to, what cooking develops within us. Why cook? Number 1 is memory. One of the biggest complaints worldwide is memory loss. Alzheimer's, dementia, word retrieval, all of these are memory issues. The brain is directly related to the gut. When we were in embryo, it was one, and then we open up. So brain-gut connection. As our intestines improve, then our mind gets clearer and clearer. And I can say today that my mind and my memory at age 68 is better than it was 40 years ago. I used to be some kind of airhead. Anyway, as my health changed with good quality minerals in my diet, my memory has improved. What was I saying? Oh no. The key to memory is minerals. Someone may be even overweight and still be lacking in minerals. If they are eating sugar and junk and processed food, all of these deplete our minerals. That's one benefit of sea vegetables, which are concentrated minerals, like as are dark leafy greens as well, like kale, radish tops, mustard greens, bok choy, I'm not just talking about a salad mix here. We're talking about the bitter ones, like we struggle through on Passover. Second benefit to cooking, sound judgment. Making good decisions is a function of simple and nourishing foods. We talked about intuition at the beginning of this talk. Every day at home, I cook simple meals. Occasionally, I'll experiment with something special. Daily cooking is basic good food for our lives. If you can be satisfied with a humble bowl of brown rice, good for you. Simple day-to-day cooking needs to be delicious and satisfying. You need to know how to make brown rice wonderful. If it's not, let's talk about it. Beans can be amazing. That's why cooking classes are so helpful for enjoying our food. Number 3 is happiness. Junk food does not support our happiness or enable us to realize our dream. That takes eating for our purpose. What do you want to do with your life? Are you happy with your direction? Even as a retired person, the question always is, what's next? What makes you happy and excited? Eat for that. Eat for that reason, not just eating for cancer prevention or recovery. It has to be bigger than that. People with serious health issues, of course, first eat in a way to recover, and then they expand to freedom. That's our goal. What is bigger than that? So that's my next item here. Number 4 is freedom. Health is freedom. Physical restriction allows spiritual expansion. Again, physical restriction allows spiritual expansion. Love it. It's a lot of responsibility to start thinking about what I really want to do, and essential. Number 5, physical and mental resistance to viruses, to toxins, to infectious agents, to bacteria. Strong blood quality helps prevent infection. I don't know a single macrobiotic person with coronavirus. Let's hope. Coronavirus is a huge wake-up call to society. If we are eating too much sugar and sweets all the time and not enough good, nourishing, strengthening food, we are vulnerable. Resistance comes from good blood quality. Mental resistance means filtering out the mental pollution of crazy ideas that don't make sense and confuse our direction. Can you think clearly about things? We need to strengthen our ability to think for ourselves. That comes from cooking. And number 6, intuition. Intuition is very important to develop. Let it come. Modern life is moving increasingly towards the artificial world. We need to move towards the natural. Macrobiotics means connecting more and more with natural cycles to feel part of, supported by, and connected with nature. By chewing well, and Jessica Porter will give us a chewing talk. Chewing well, eating less, and maintaining an attitude of non-credo, of questioning, of being in a state of wonder. These allow our intuition to grow. So I want to finish talking about what I call the spirit of health. Symptoms are easy to cure. To change our orientation or our direction in life is difficult. If we simply erase the symptoms, we'll get sick again, and we still are sick. Healing is a spiritual revolution. Wow. It's a personality transplant. It's changing the patterns that created the illness to begin with. That's difficult. Symptomatic treatment, even in holistic circles, is easy. I mean, acupuncturists, chiropractors know that without a change in life direction, the patient will keep returning with different symptoms. The spirit of health is something we cultivate. It means to be open. We may hear something unusual, unknown, questionable in our mind. We have to be willing at least to try it out and see if it has merit. Is this macrobiotic stuff as good as Ginat says it is? Check it out. For example, I remember my first macrobiotic teachers. Remember I spoke about Richard Gombin, a Frenchman who was here in Israel, that first summer when I first started. And he and his wife didn't eat any fruit. And I couldn't imagine being in the heat of Israel in the summer without fruit. It was unthinkable. I tried it with them, and I found out that I really didn't need the added sweet taste. After a week, it wasn't even hard. So the aspects of spiritual health, or the spirit of health, we could say, is one, to establish a taste for simple food. Simple food tastes incredible, just chew it. The problem is that in modern society, we've lost our appetite for simple food. Our taste buds have altered. We need to know that a bowl of brown rice is delicious. Then we have a good appetite. Cooking my own food during coronavirus has been such a gift. It's really great. Second aspect of the spirit of health is to be curious about life. I just mentioned, question things, investigate why. When a baby starts to eat whole, or not whole, but grains, usually grain porridge, he gets off of mother's milk and begins having grains, he starts to question, why, mommy, why this, why that? Same with us. When we start to eat grains, we are in a state of wonder. It's beginner's mind of, I wonder why, oh, that's interesting. Be open. The spirit of health, number 3, is endless appreciation for everything we have, starting with the food we eat. Sickness and health are cycles of life. Without illness, we would never appreciate health. Oftentimes, the sicker we are, the more we appreciate feeling good. Everyone is going to have some kind of struggle in his life. The baby falls down, and we say, get up, you can do it, try again. Some experiences are more difficult than others. All of them are showing us our limitation. Who knows my body more than I do? No one else can really know what's right for me, what I'm thinking, what my purpose and direction is. Discover yourself. Appreciation for simple food gives us appreciation for everything else in our lives. The next one, number 4. Spirit of health is self-care, taking care of yourself. Self-love is self-care. We say, take care, that kind of thing we tell each other. Allow yourself to learn this if you didn't get it as a child. We can't be responsible for others. We can only take care of ourselves. We may want our partner to behave a certain way or not to, and it doesn't work. You can support each other. Each of us has to take care of himself. Food fights and secret eating are not productive. Food engenders crazy arguments. I mean, tell him to do and he won't, and it's a lesson in allowing, one of life's beautiful lessons. You can't be a food tyrant. You can try. It doesn't feel good. You can only walk your walk. And that's the greatest influence. People watch, they notice what you're doing, and they'll ask. If you drive them away, if someone isn't asking, then I don't tell. People don't always want to hear your gospel. So the next one, number 5, the spirit of health is being flexible, is being adaptable. Maybe we are invited out or on an airplane, or we are at a restaurant or whatever. The situation is not ideal. The more delicate your health, the more you want to be careful. Still, make the best choices you can. Chew well, eat small amounts, be macrobiotic, large life. Find appreciation in every situation. Number 6. Develop a strong will. Be determined to create your health. Be determined to create your life. Will is a function of the kidneys. They are the seat of our physical and our sexual vitality. Kidneys are nourished by good minerals, as we said, found in beans and in sea vegetables. They are really damaged by sweets like sugar. When the kidneys are strong, nothing stops you. When they get depleted, our vitality and life force diminishes. Keep them healthy by going to bed on time. Go to bed early if you can. Don't stay up until 2 in the morning. that's very damaging because this is the time the kidneys replenish. So chew well, live right. To become stronger, we need to eat less, chew more, and work hard physically. Cleaning is an excellent occupation. Movement is so important. Once we lose that ability, it's very difficult to create health. Activity is the generator, we could say, or the pump that moves nutrition through our bodies. We can't just eat and be sedentary. It's tough for people with really limited mobility, even in a hospital bed, or if someone needs to be in a chair. Stimulate fingers and toes, get a shiatsu massage, get the circulation moving. Cold weather is very good for the nervous system, activates our ability to think. So even in a hot climate, have cold showers. In the winter, keep the windows open. Turn down the heat. Welcome cold. Number 7 out of 11, and then we are done. Seek personal challenges. Regardless of our age, challenges motivate us. We can't always be in comfort in a feathered nest. Take the stairs, park away. I know people who go to the gym and want the closest parking spot. Doesn't compute. Create a health forum. Oh, that's a great challenge. Number 8 of the spirit of health. Be accurate in our practice. Accuracy is a spiritual quality. I love that. Accuracy means doing what we understand is correct for our goal, whether it's health or otherwise. For example, someone with a liver issue is not going to eat after 7 p.m. Nothing crosses these lips, they're done. If I know sugar is bad for my health, not a molecule goes in. That's being accurate. Otherwise, our health will not improve. Walk every day, make it a habit. Sometimes health requires boot camp to make a shift. Tough love. Will and determination are the opposite of wishy-washiness. There's some discomfort in the beginnings as we move physically, the acidity out of our joints, and mentally we de-rust. It can be physically uncomfortable and mentally, and the payoff is worth it. No more constipation, a sense of satisfaction. Don't resist moving. Washing the dishes is great for digestion. Cleaning is one of the best exercises. Number 9, the spirit of health, learn how to cook simple, delicious dishes. You have to be able to say, I really like my food. That includes men too. Everyone needs to know how to cook basic dishes. The men can't be dependent on anybody else. We can't have a cook, no one, that does all of our cooking as nice as it sounds like it might be. Cooking is one of the most valuable things I ever learned, and it wasn't from my mother. I only set the table. Number 10, create a support network. In Hebrew, we have an expression, Al tifrosh min hatzibur. It means don't separate yourself from the community. You need another person or people in your life who are like-minded and want to be healthy. I remember Sheldon, I think he said he used to go down to the street and invite people to come up and be part of a Shabbat meal. Or we used to make potlucks. Claire is excellent at organizing. Something so that we have community, so important. Share food, attend conferences, have someone in your life that shares your direction. Number 11, ta-da! Remain empty. A healthy person actually takes less food. The more we ingest physical food, the less we can absorb vibrational energy, which is a stronger source of nourishment and happiness. If we are overeating and full from physical food, we can't take in vibration. Being empty is the key. Getting stuffed has a big price. We lose our direction when we overeat or when we eat too fast. Take the time, eat less and eat correctly, slowly, with our feet on the floor. When we eat less, we can heal quicker. When you overeat, your body has to get rid of all that excess. It's not in healing mode, it's in overload. The body is trying to get rid of excess through elimination, through the bowels, the skin, the lungs. The organs can rearrange themselves and adjust when we take in less food. Big, bloated bodies and organs are not human quality. When we're always full, the body can't adjust. Less eating gives us more flexibility mentally and physically. We become more rigid when we overeat all the time. Don't mound up your plate. Misho, my teacher, Kushi, used to teach to take enough food that we know is right for us. And that's it. That's what we eat. Sheldon never goes back for seconds. He'll leave a spoon in the pot. He takes the amount that he needs. So, summing up, macrobiotics is an orderly approach to diet and lifestyle with a food component and a bigger picture of eating for our purpose and our dream. We figure out what we need in order to recover and to maintain our health and to flourish moving forward in our life. That's why it's called Great Life, macrobiotics, not microbiology. There is no perfection to our practice. We call it a practice, of course. It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery, the Cadillac of lifestyles. L'chaim, here's to health. So that's my talk for today. I'm going to unmute everybody. Let's see if I know how to do that. There we go. Now, greetings everyone. So, wow, we started the forum. Welcome, welcome. So, hello Hazel, hello everybody. So, anybody who needs, wants, would like to take a break, we have 20 minutes till the next talk, which is by Yuval Terem. Meanwhile, this is an opportunity, if you have questions, something you'd like to say, please do.
Can I ask a question?
Just speak, please.
So when I was introduced, which was a wonderful miracle story, like 40 years ago. So I have a question.
Hold on, let me just interrupt you for a minute. May I ask everybody else to please mute yourself? Do that in the bottom left corner, except for the speaker. Bottom left corner of your screen, mute yourself, and then there won't be interruption.
Oh, anyhow, so in recent years, I have something new, which is very easy to do. I can buy organic products. And I thought to myself sometimes to introduce and have things like that are called deadly nightshade, because I thought theoretically it could be that maybe half of the problem of all the foods that I was eating also have all sorts of extra salts and preservatives and pesticides on them. So sometimes I have tomato sauce and tomatoes and...
So let me answer. I understand your question. Rafi, I'll ask you please to just mute yourself. So what I understand the question is, perhaps, or this is what I'm answering. Rafi, if you could mute yourselves. Hazel, if you could mute, please. So a question I'm understanding here is about organic foods and nightshade vegetables. Organic vegetables, of course, are wonderful. Of course, we want the best quality air, water, food, thoughts, ideas, people in our lives. It is not necessary. It's wonderful, and we can, how can I say, we can have great lives, macrobios, without these things. It's a wonderful thing that we can manage without. Nightshade vegetables, whether organic or not, are not so supportive for our health. Again, if we're very healthy, we have an occasional, we have a party or an occasion or something like that, and we have them, okay, nothing happens. As a daily diet, we don't want to have these foods. Next. So, Sharon, be sure to unmute yourself when you're asking a question. No? Anybody else have a question? Again, let me know if you would like a copy of my remarks. I'll send it to you. If you have any understandings, please do send them to me. Just jot me an email, whichever way you can figure out to let me know so that we can write this wonderful article for Macrobiotics Today. Again, an appeal out for the May birthdays. So if we don't have any more questions, I will close this meeting.
Wait.
There you go, Sarah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you spoke beautifully, down to the point, concise. It was informative, and it was a pleasure seeing you here. And I think it's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I am going to close this meeting and then reopen a new Zoom meeting. It'll be the same link that you click to get into this one. I understand, unless someone knows otherwise, that I need to actually close this meeting in order to have the recording file be closed and to start afresh for the next one. I don't think it's just enough to stop the recording. So,
this is Marcy. Hi.
Hi, Marcy.
Hi. I'm pretty sure you can just stop the recording and then start a new one for the next session. I'm in bed. Hi, everyone.
I will stop the recording now. Thank you all so much. We'll see you at 11 o'clock Israel time. And
Thank you.
don't go away. Thank you, thank you, thank you.